Hi everyone! So today we're going to talk about your project. And your project is going to be pretty big. You're going to design your own circuit. You're going to design the circuit diagram. You're going to do some calculations about it. And then you're going to build it in Tinkercad. So let's go ahead and take a look at what you are going to be building. The best way to understand this project is to look at some of the examples that I have made for you. And those examples will, of course, be available to you guys. So, what are you looking at? You're looking at the same type of circuit that we have just done with the series puzzle. This is one of the solutions. But it looks nothing like what we did in class because it's in the shape of a triangle. So what you are going to do is you're going to be making shapes, different shapes with LEDs. So for example, this circuit has a shape of a triangle. This circuit has a shape of letter M for my name. This circuit has a shape of letter E or a box if you like. This circuit has a shape of a square. All of these circuits are very much one of the solutions to our series puzzle. So when you look at this triangle, what it looks like is this. This is the circuit diagram. So this is the circuit diagram that we all know about by now because we've talked about this multiple times. When you look, for example, at our letter E, the circuit diagram is something very, very similar, only now instead of 5 LEDs, you have 9. You can have as many LEDs as you need to build whatever it is the shape that you will choose to do. Now, when we get to something like a letter M, the circuit diagram becomes a little more complex. And by complex, I mean something like this, which looks not actually that bad because over on this side, you can see the solution, the second solution to the series puzzle that I've shown you, and it has one extra branch for that one extra LED. So all of this is something you have seen before. What you have not done is design the circuit in such a way that it has some kind of shape. And this is not something that I just made up so that we can make a project. If you think about it, outside you can see also all sorts of shapes made out of LED lights, like everywhere. So how do you think those things are made? So this is one of those things where you can build one of your own. So let's talk about what it is exactly I want you to build. I want you to choose a shape, and please don't choose something as simple as triangle or square at this point because I've shown you how to do it. A first letter of your name will work. For example, my name is Anastasia or my last name is Martinenko, so I chose M. The letter of your name works, if you want to build a star, that works. Just don't do triangles or squares, please. So choose a shape, build it with LEDs, and then try and figure out what kind of circuit diagram you're going to use and how are you going to connect this all so that it works. However, this is not it. This is not all of it, right? Once you have all of your LEDs light up, I want you to add something extra to your circuit. So what that extra would be is up to you. Maybe you can add a dimmer. Maybe you can add a switch. Maybe you want to have an RGB LED and you want to have your sign change colors with different switches. Those are all the options that you guys can use. Now, I know that some of those things like slide switches and RGB LEDs, we've talked a little bit in our class, and some of them like dimmers, we didn't. You will find on the page where all of my videos are, including this one, you will find videos on how to set up a potentiometer as a dimmer or a rheostat, as we call it in electronics. You will find a video on how to use RGB LED and how to use a slide switch. All of those things will be there for you so that you guys can look at them as your examples and build a project of your own. So your project should have at least 6 LEDs. You must have a 4.5 volt battery, but nothing bigger than that. Please don't use those 9 volts. I don't want them. Or 6 volts. You can have as many resistors as you want. Of course, as many wires as you want. If you want to use an extra breadboard, you're welcome to do so. And you must have 2 additional components. It can be a slide switch or an RGB LED, or it could be a potentiometer and a slide switch, or a potentiometer and an RGB LED. I don't care how you guys gonna set this up. This is up to you and up to your vision of what you guys are doing. So today, now that I've introduced you to the project, I want you to start figuring out what your project is going to be. Figure out what design you're trying to create. Is it a letter? Is it some kind of shape? And make sure you do a sketch of what it is and submit it to me. Okay? It's going to be on the hub and you will be able to see it will say project sketch submission. So make sure you go ahead and do that today and start building your sketch on your breadboard just to figure out how you're going to lay out your LEDs. Once you figure out how you're going to lay out your LEDs, you're going to start thinking what would be the most appropriate circuit diagram for you guys to use for something like this, and how you're going to do all of your connections. All right, guys. So I'll be waiting for your submissions, and have a nice day, everyone.